Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, I am Jonathan, your host here at QuickBird Gaming. Thank you for joining me for this installment of QuickBird News, where we cover 7 days of gaming news in less than 7 minutes. But this week, screw it. We're going to run long because I got a lot I want to talk about. We'll call it an extra length holiday special because of Thanksgiving just being a couple days ago. Anyway, I appreciate you tuning in, and since I have a lot to talk about, let's get into it. First up is a follow-up from last week's headline on my channel, and this article was published by IGN on Friday, 29 November, and it reads, Sony may find it hard to buy all of FromSoftware parent company Kadokawa financial report claims. Now, if you read down here through this article, the gist of it is the reports are that Sony may be reluctant to buy everything. They just want to be able to buy parts of Kadokawa, and Kadokawa says, nope, you buy everything or nothing at all. The rub is that the entire deal could cost Sony over $4 billion. And right now, their money for buyouts is a little tight. And it says down here, as a point of comparison, Sony bought Destiny developer Bungie for $3.7 billion back in 2022. And since then, Sony has already been laying off people. I think they laid off about 8% of their workforce this year. Obviously, they put a lot of money into Firewalk Studios, the people that made Concord, which turned out to be a disaster and a big loss. They had to shut that down. So Sony's petty cash flow may be suffering right now. It may be awful tight for them to scrape together that much, and kind of risky because if it goes wrong, that could be a serious problem. Then there's next art line says there's also the apparent prospect of a bidding war that could cause their sale price to soar. A lot of people seem to think this deal is going to go through, but there are still some bumps in the road, and we'll just have to see where FromSoftware ends up. Next up is this article from GameSpot, published on Tuesday, 26 November. The headline reads, Activision bans thousands of Black Ops 6 ranked players, but some say it's not enough. Essentially, the gist of this article is that there is a lot of cheating going on in Black Ops 6, and Activision is trying to use their auto detect to ban the players, get rid of them, and detect any more cheating. Where I highlight here says the company has banned thousands of players and it's banning more every hour, but popular streamers and popular players have spoken out saying it's not enough. One responded, a streamer by the name of Nadeshot, said it's complete propaganda, that they're actually taking care of the issue. And he says, 10 names minimum in the first 3 pages were legitimately spin botting live on our streams. How could there possibly be 19,000 accounts banned when the most egregious abusers are giving us the middle finger on the leaderboard? I don't play COD, so I have no basis of comparison other than what this article is telling me, but the situation doesn't sound good. If you are a fan, you're probably already aware of this, but if not, just something to be aware of if you're getting ready to go log into that lobby. This article published on Engadget on Monday, November 25th, short and sweet. Mass Effect creators new studio is shutting down for 3 years. Casey Hudson, who was once a former GM at Bioware and worked on Mass Effect, he had started his own studio in 2021, and unfortunately it is shutting down due to, quote, lack of funding. And I think it's just another victim this year of the gaming industry where there's just not enough money to go around, and we've had a lot of layoffs. They apparently had a AAA game in development, and let's see if I start swinging down here, set in an all-new science fiction universe, and they were hiring as recently as May, but unfortunately it looks like it's the end of the line. So another studio falls victim in 2024. Then there's this article published by IGN on Thursday, 28 November, and this is just getting comical to me, where it says, new Tencent game accused of ripping off Sony's Horizon series. And essentially, this new game coming out of one of Tencent's subsidiaries out of China is called Lights of Motiram. I believe I said that right. And it basically described as an open-world multiplayer survival game where nature meets machine. So, and I mean, if you kind of look at the GIF there that's included in the article, it all looks very familiar. Now, this also has some familiarity to games like Monster Hunter, but some of the world building and base building elements have been drawing comparison by users to Palworld, which itself has been accused of ripping off Pokemon. So now we just have these insinuations or accusations of one company who's ripping off another company who's ripping off another company. Who the hell knows how this is going to play out? But this is supposed to release in 2025, and I think Horizon's multiplayer is also supposed to release in 2025. So we're in for some interesting times. The subtitle of the article here says, "Might need a lawyer." Very droll, but probably true. This article from Game Rant was published on Friday, 29 November, and it's talking about the upcoming Xbox Obsidian Studios game Avowed, and some players are upset, but not for the reasons associated with some of the more recent conversation. This article is titled, "Xbox Gamers Aren't Happy About the Avowed Premium Edition." And if you scroll down here, you will see that why this is. Despite referring to the game's most expensive version as a physical edition, the premium steelbook does not come with a disc, but a digital download code inside the case. Now, I understand why game studios are hell-bent to get away from physical media, but I don't think this is a winning way to go about it. You know, Avowed is a game that has had a lot of anticipation. I know a lot of people personally who are looking forward to it, but it's already generated some controversy. And for the purposes of this conversation, it doesn't matter if you think that controversy is valid or not. It doesn't matter. It's people that aren't going to buy the game. And I've noticed game companies want to do this. They want to slice off this section of their customer base by taking a certain action. And then they slice off this section of customers by doing another. And so on and so on. And then when the game comes out, they've alienated everybody for a variety of reasons, and these games are failing. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. I've got a video coming out in the near future about why games are failing today. I'll go into more depth. But for the purposes of this, I mean, this is a losing proposition for Xbox and for Obsidian. If you're going to offer a physical copy, offer a physical media, or don't call it that. Don't call it premium if you're not going to give a physical media. You're just going to piss people off. But here we are. Well, all those stories were kind of downers, right? We kind of covered a bunch of controversy or bad news situations. Now let's look at some good things going on in the game world. First good news is this article from Eurogamer, published on Tuesday, November 26th, where CD Projekt Red has confirmed that The Witcher 4 has entered full-scale production. Now, I know that a lot of people will have concerns, myself included, because we've been disappointed by a lot of games lately, and this is a very popular franchise. However, we won't know more until we get closer, and the fact that they're moving on is a good thing. Some people seem to think that it may show up in the second half of 2025. I would not be surprised if it doesn't come out until 2026, but it remains to be seen. Doug Cockle, the actor who voiced Geralt in the previous games in the series, is returning. He's confirmed he's not the main character. All signs are pointing to Ciri as taking over the Witcher mantle. Either way, I really like this series, so I'll be very interested to see how it plays out. This snippet that comes from Digital Trends and was published on Tuesday, November 26th, is more good news. You'll never have to use the 2K launcher for Steam games again, or Epic Games, as it turns out. The homegrown launcher that was included for games like the Bioshock series and Civilization, which had already had it removed, is out. You don't have them now. You can just launch straight from Steam or Epic, and to me, that's a great thing. I hate multiple launchers. I think they're cumbersome, and yeah, I believe they're data mining. So I really don't like having them. So this is all good news. It does not affect games like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, since Rockstar does have its own launcher, but other games under the 2K umbrella, no more launchers. So that's a positive. Speaking of 2K games and Gearbox, we have this article that comes to us from PC Gamer on Wednesday, November 27th, and it reads, "Terminally ill Borderlands fan says his trip to Gearbox to play Borderlands 4 was truly an amazing experience." Now, this gentleman goes by the name Caleb McAlpine, has a terminal medical condition, but he's a huge diehard Borderlands fan. He asked for a chance to play Borderlands 4 when he still could. People in Reddit got his request through to Gearbox, and the CEO of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, made it happen. They flew him out, and he got to play the game. Now, I'll be the first to call out Randy Pitchford and some of his idiot behavior in the past, but to me, this was a class act. The gentleman was able to go and engage in his passion and be appreciative of it before his illness runs its course. So good on Gearbox and good on Pitchford for it. Good feel-good story for the holiday. Also coming at us from PC Gamer on the same day, Wednesday the 27th, is this article that reads, 8 years after a terrible launch, No Man's Sky has reached a very positive rating on Steam. Now, No Man's Sky is one of the, for certain, greatest redemption arcs in modern video game history. If you don't know, it launched back in August of 2016 to just overwhelmingly negative reviews, and they have an icon of it here, and you can see it's mostly negative. And I mean, of 78,000 reviews, mostly negative I believe that means it was under 30% positive. It was buggy, it was full of errors, and just not a good experience. But I will give the team over there credit. The team at Hello Games, they have stuck with it. They've been releasing bug fixes for years, free updates to the game, and slowly they climb back up to a mixed rating and then to a mostly positive. And then just recently, they have hit 80% overall total positive reviews, which is monumental considering the hole they had to dig out of. And Sean Murray, the head of the Hello Games, Sean Murray, tweeted this. Holy shit, you guys, it happened. All reviews very positive. You have no idea what this means to us. And down here is the clip of them showing it from Steam. We all love a good redemption arc, and I'm glad to see it. I actually bought No Man's Sky during Steam's fall sale that opened up a few days ago, and I got it installed. I'm going to check it out probably starting next week. So I'm looking forward to a good experience. And, good on them for sticking with it. Next up is this article from Tech Radar. It was published on Thursday, 28 November, and it simply reads, what do you mean Baldur's Gate 3's next major patch will introduce 12 new subclasses? And you look down here and it says the game is going to receive new subclasses, a photo mode, and platform crossplay in a patch. This is something that a lot of game companies will charge for, and Larian is just patching it in. Baldur's Gate 3 is the game that just keeps on giving. Stress tests are supposed to start in early January, so after the holidays, and sometime after that, you will have this patch and have these features implemented, all patched into the game for free. You gotta love it, and you gotta love Larian. And last is this article from Eurogamer from Wednesday, 27 November, titled, Balatro has made almost $4.5 million from its mobile release alone. This is, to me, is the dream. This is the success story that all the developers in the game industry want to have. Balatro was developed by one person, I believe, out of Canada. For a couple of years, he worked on this and then threw it up on Steam. Sold 2 million copies in less than a year. It's nominated for a Game of the Year in the Game Awards this year, and now he's releasing it on mobile. I mean, like I said, you gotta love these success stories. They're rare, and it's just so impressive. So good on him, and good on Balatro. And that's going to do it. 7 days of gaming news. I went way over 7 minutes, but it's fine. You know what? We got to talk about a lot of positive stuff, and that isn't always the case. There's so much negativity in the gaming industry. We talk about studios collapsing and people having controversies and games having issues and so on. It was nice to talk about a lot of positive stories this time. So I went over. I'll try to get back on into my normal 7-minute span next week. In the meantime, I'm going to leave this here. You all go out and live your best lives. You all stay gaming.